I'm Veronica Bermudez. I'm an engineer and scientist, and I'm going to tell you about a bit more about me and about my work and about why I'm doing as a scientist and how I engage in this world. So I started to engage with WIEE in 2010 when I was chairing the Women in Photovoltaics event in IEEE conference for photovoltaic specialists. At the time, I met Keyana, and since then we have been working together to try to promote a little bit more photovoltaics between young women and also young men, and but the more important is young women, and we have been working since then. As I said, in 2010 because I consider, and we consider, that it's very important to have this kind of engagement from people that is already working as engineer in this world. So just to let you know a bit more about me, I was born in Madrid, in Spain, in 1972, and I obtained my degree in my PhD thesis from the University of Madrid in 98. So at that time, I was granted with the award for research thesis in growth and characterization of bulk periodically poled lithium niobate DOP with erbium and ytterbium. At that time, I was not working really in photovoltaic yet, but I was working in nonlinear optical materials. So just to let you know more about how I engage in photovoltaic, after my PhD, I moved to France, and at that time I was working in nonlinear optical materials from organics, and this was my first contact with photovoltaics. So there were organic materials for photovoltaic applications, and I was really interested in the interaction between light and materials. So I came back to Spain with a tenure track position, and within the first round of Ramon y Cajal program in Spain, and I was working there from 2000 to 2005 as a researcher in the materials physics department at the University of Madrid. So when I came back. After this period, I came back to France in 2005, and I was engaged by the Institute for Research and Development in Photovoltaic Energy. And I hold the responsibility of the optoelectronic characterization group, and I was really engaged and involved at that time in energy and renewable energy. So during my entire professional trajectory, I have been very interested in the industrial application of my research activities, which really is something very important, because it's linking the fundamental research with the engineering work. In this way, I have participated in several research contracts with industries, either at the stages of my career at the beginning in laser applications, or today also in the creation of the spin-off Nexus 4 years ago, where I'm working now. So why I decided to follow this path, this professional path. So when I was really young, I had something like 12, 13 years, I meet one of my friends, the father of one of my friends was a nuclear engineer. And I discovered that this guy at that time was really enjoying the work he was doing, and that he was very fortunate to be able to work in something that passionated him, and also that he were very proud of the fact that he was creating something that was really useful for the society, and that the society recognized his work. So this at 12, when I was 12, I decided that I wanted to make like him, that I wanted to make nuclear physics and become a nuclear engineer. And we can say that he was my role model. Okay, it was a role model, a different role model as the one we have always in mind, because he was a man. He was working. His wife was at home taking care of the child, and we know that it's not the same for us. But we will come late to this topic. So I engage in physics, as I told you. In the path of my studies, in the meantime, I decided not to make nuclear physics, but material physics and optics, and because I was more interested in materials interaction with light. So during all this time, I have had the chance to publish more than 100 papers in international review scientific publications, and mainly in materials and characterization techniques for materials and photovoltaic devices. I have been the chance also. I have had the chance to travel a lot, going to international conferences and meeting a lot of people and making a lot of friends around the world. And this is something I really appreciate also for my work. And it's very important for me to be happy each day, to be challenged in my mind, and to have something new to do every day, something new to discover, something new to work on. It's hard. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. But I think that this is it's really well paid from the personal point of view. So I have been recognized for my work in several times. I have several prizes, international prizes, national prizes, and so on. And I'm very proud of all of this work. And I have just to finish a little bit about my background. I have also had the opportunity to organize and to chair some of the scientific committees and organizing committees of the most prestigious international conferences. So this is more or less about me, and what I wanted to share with you now is so why we women need to be involved in renewable, and in particular in photovoltaic technologies. Not just that we need to be involved, but also the photovoltaic industry need us to be involved, because women need science, but science needs women. And also engineering needs women, and women need engineers. So what I'm going to tell you now is just a manifesto, which is really personal, and is my personal point of view of a strategic vision for people, not just in solar, and not just for women, is something that can be extrapolated to other engineering and scientific fields, and of course can be extrapolated to men. So in particular, I'm going to talk to you about solar because it's something that I care too much, but you can extrapolate it to every field, every scientific or engineer field. So solar is a very young industry. We have, during the last 10 years, there have been a lot of companies that have been created. There are having a lot of companies that went bankruptcy, and but it's a young industry which is not mature, and it's maturing. So we need to foment expertise of people in order to overcome all the obstacles still in front of us. So that aside, we women, we have a lot in common with the solar industry, and we can apport a lot to this solar industry. This is simple because solar and women, we have been struggling during many time, and today women, we are not very much struggling in the Occidental world, but solar continues to do. But we have several examples of women that are already struggling in non-developed or non-Occidental countries. And we can learn from solar, and solar can learn from us, and because in some cases it's just a matter to survive. So the message is simple, and what I want to communicate to you is the fact that find what you love, do what you love, take a risk, be fearless, and overcome the obstacles placed in front of you, and do not give up if the obstacles overcome you. So if we go back in the time, we can see in the history learns us that women in business have trod a long, hard road, but the road for women of all ages and circumstances has been hard. In particular, if we consider that in 1872, Susan B. Anthony was prosecuted for illegally voting. It means that at the ending of 2 cycles ago, women were not allowed to vote. In July 1878, the state of Wyoming allowed the women the right for women, and this was admitted as a state. And at the same year, a constitutional amendment, which did not pass for over 40 years, was introduced, stating that the right of citizens to vote shall not be abridged by the United States or by any state of account sex. This was at the beginning of 90s in the US, but I can say you that in Europe was the same. We have in France, it was something like 1940, in the 40s. In Spain, it was in the 60s, 70s. Okay, not at that time there were dictature, but okay, even if without this, it was not allowed for them to any consultancy procedure. So finally, in the 20s, in the US allowed women to vote for their president. So, but there is still a long way to go out. In business, women are still in the minority in terms of executive leadership. This is not just a problem of renewable industry, not of photovoltaic industry, but it's a general problem. In the US, for example, women are underrepresented politically. In Europe, they are also underrepresented, and we are not going to speak about other non-developed countries. In 1998, where I finished my PhD, there were very few women in solar, and they still continue to be very few women in solar, because solar has inherited a lot from the microelectronic industry, which is a traditional male field. So since that time, we are speaking about 98, representation in the solar ranks by women have risen along with the megawatts installed, but comparatively speaking, We are not yet at the gigawatt level in terms of representation today. So women, what can we do about this? We need to do something, and we need to react, and we need to engage ourselves, because don't forget, industry needs women, because we can't allow, in this crisis period, we can't we can't allow that half of the brains are not engaged in the technological development. So we as women, we have a lot in common with the solar industry. We have a struggle in the security, being underappreciated, underused, and undersupported. This is just a constant. It's not something that we want to complain, and we want to say to give pain, and we want to say, oh, the poor women, we are not where we should be. It's just a constant. We forget that the opportunities we have now, through challenges remain, are available to us because so many others before us fought hard for their own right to thrive, to succeed, or just to fail and try again, try. So solar industry is at the beginning, still young, still so much to prove. We as women, we are part of solar future, and the solar history will be ours too. This is extrapolated just not to solar, but also to renewable energies in general. We are speaking about solar because it's my field, but you look the numbers to wind, and you look the numbers to hydroelectrics, to biomass, to waves, and so on. You can't find the same numbers, even in sometimes worse. So we as women, we need to be present as future CEOs of the companies, scientists, engineers, writers, business developers, analysts, and system integrators. As women, the trials, tribulations, and hard-won success of those before us to take part of our DNA. So we have been speaking much about solar. And okay, I have some questions regarding which is photovoltaic, solar, and so on. Okay, so photovoltaics, which is photovoltaic for those of you which are not really aware of this word. Photovoltaics is we have a semiconductor material which is put together with several semiconductor materials. We make a stack of semiconductor materials, and one of them is photoactive. It means that is absorbing the photons coming from the sun and converting them in electricity. To do this, we need to absorb the light coming from the sun, and we need to generate charge that we need after to separate to be collected by electrodes at each extreme of our electrodes. So we have the plates facing the sun, we have sun coming, and we have electricity being produced. This is photovoltaics, and it's the production of electricity directly from the sun radiation. We have after solar, which is more general than photovoltaics, and in this case we can have thermal products, which mean that we are absorbing the energy of the sun, we are generating heat, and with this heat we are generating electricity. This is thermoelectric conversion. We have also the possibility not to transform this the heat created by the absorption of the energy of the sun, but to use this energy to heat directly. So you have in many countries with a lot of irradiation, you have systems that allow you to absorb the energy of the sun and to heat directly the water we are going to consume at home. We have other renewable energies like wine, where we are using the wine and the energy the wine is producing to move helices, and with the movement, mechanical movement of these helices, we are producing electricity. We have biomass, which is to use a bioproduct, which we have been cultivated as a substitution of oil or petrol or carbon to produce energy, again to produce electricity. We have tidal waves, which means that you are using the power and the energy produced by tidal waves in the oceans to produce electricity. You have more questions regarding the different technologies we can have in these renewable worlds. Please don't hesitate to put to send your question through the Facebook chat. I will be pleased to answer you. So coming back to women, so we need really to be present between the future leaders in solars and in renewables, and this is for solar's sake. The vision of women in solar is simple. We should be industry and company leaders, and we should never forget that the hard fight that all the women before us went through, so that we could have opportunities. We need to start companies and to run companies. This comes back to the one I told you, take risk. Usually men take more risk than us, and this is something that is mainly cultural. We are not learned to take a risk. We are not learned to be heard, to say, I'm here and I want to do this, because we need to be quiet, prudent, and so on. But we need really to create companies and to run companies. We need to run companies that reflect the hard work successes we have achieved. I know that this is not easy, that it's difficult to have a personal career which is compatible with the professional career, but it can be managed. I can say that minds are changing, and they are changing fast. I can tell you about my personal case. My husband was a military at the time I met him, and he came from the very traditional school in Spain. It means that male dominating school. Spain, was very Catholic, and used to be a society very much male dominant. So I arrived to change a little bit his mind, and to show him that we needed to share the work at home, and we need to share our projections in future. And it was not easy at the beginning. It's a hard work, like the one to study an engineering, but at the end, I had my payback, and now I'm working. I'm the money maker at home, and he's taking care of our child. He decided to make a break in his career to allow me to explore all the possibilities I had. So just to let you know that no matter the beginning of your mind, no matter the beginning of the mind of your husband, your boyfriend, and so on, is something that you need to fight to have, because you have the right to have the same working conditions as he has. If you have child, you have to share both, and not just to be helped. You need to share all obligations. If you have a home, you need to share responsibilities at home. And this is something that we need to learn. We need to learn to ask for things. When we ask, many times we are surprised because the answer is positive. But most of the time, we don't ask. We fear the answer, and we don't ask. And usually when we don't ask, the answer is not positive for us. So I have some suggestions for general for you and for people in general, for people who will run companies in the solar future and who will manage their personal and professional career in a shared partnership with her companion. And please get experts to share expertise. If you are running a company, you need to be well in a right environment. Don't want to make everything alone. You need to share, and we need to take opinion of everybody. So communicate openly. As I told you, ask for things. We need to ask, and we need to ask, and we need to be sure that we are asking really what we want to ask for. Eliminate clickbaits, particularly over management. Eliminate titles. In a place work, like in life, is not a kingdom. It's a shared work, common work, and teamwork. So be prepared. Read, think, analyze, learn something every day. It's very important, not just for your career, but also for you to learn something every day. I told you before that one of the most amazing things of my work, and really I appreciated the help of my fathers, my husband, and so on to let me to continue my path, is the fact that I'm learning every day something, and that I feel useful for the society. So be prepared. Another very important thing to you to really go into this world of engineering and science is that you should foment and treasure passion and create an atmosphere where expertise and passion thrive. It's very important because, okay, when we start to think of physics, mathematics, engineering, and we are teenagers, we think, oh, this is very complicated, I'm not going to take it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to achieve the final results, and so on. But at the end, if you make this with passion, and if you make this with if you are really convinced yourself that it's something you should do, go ahead with passion and creating the atmosphere you need to enjoy every day of your work. So be open to feedback and embrace bad news. Of course, it's not a roses path. I mean, nothing is for free, and nothing is completely easy. So there are bad moments, bad news, feedback, moment where you need to stop and to say, okay, let's see. This is the right way. This is the right path. Should I move toward the right? Should I move toward the left? And believe or not, engineer studies and scientific studies learn you how to solve problems and learn you how to approach all kinds of problems, even personal problems, which have nothing to see with professional topics. So in this sense, you need to make a friend of failure. It ain't that bad, and it will point you in the right direction, and your technical skills will help you to go towards this direction. So fear is part of it. Face it, work through, and use it. And yeah, have a clear vision and set appropriate goals and benchmark to help to achieve it. Love what you are doing, but find a market for it, and it is worth repeating. Be passionate and be a true believer in what you do. So this is more or less the message I wanted to make I wanted to pass to you about science and about not science really, about how to face this engineering world. So I have one question regarding in the chat, which is what is the most spectacular thing that I have accomplished? I think that during all my scientific career, I have had the chance to accomplish many things. When I was doing my PhD, I started from some powder of material. This powder of material, at the end, I was able to convert it in something that was generating light. I mean, I started with a powder of lithium niobate. I melted it, and from it I grew some crystals that had the property to have that they have optoelectronic properties, and when they were illuminating, they were able to create red, blue, green light. And this was really amazing. You were starting from powder, and you had something that was used for the telecommunication industry, and that engineers were appropriating to use. In solar, is more or less the same. You are starting from powder, and at the end you are generating electricity. And I remember one time I came back at home with a small cell developed and fabricated in my old research institute, and I showed to my kids that by connecting to wires and putting this cell in face of the sun, we were able to hear music, because it was alimentating, and it was providing electricity to some apparatus we have here to hear music. So I think that when you make engineering and you make science, everything is something spectacular, because you are starting from something that is basic, and you are creating something that will be useful for somebody somewhere and someplace. The other question I have is what I'm currently working on or researching. Okay, today at Nexis we are facing up, and in the Nexis is the company where I work now. It's a startup from EDF, which is the main company which is providing electricity in France, which is and we have been developing during the last 4 years. We have, because it was created in 2009, we have been developing solar cells based in copper, indium, gallium, selenide, and sulfide. We have very good results now, in spite of the struggling moment of the PV world, and we have very nice results. We have achieved all our milestones and all our goals, and we are going into industrialization in next year. So at that time, I'm in charge of helping the process people to look for what will be the future of our product and the future of the technology in 4 or 5 years. So I'm working in a technological overview and scientific overview of what will be the next generation of high efficient photovoltaic devices. In fact, I'm looking to new materials. I'm looking to new devices, new configuration of devices, new design of devices, and this is mainly what I'm doing now, how to improve and how to be competitive in the near future, and how to help my companies to be in the market and to have a leader place in the market, not just now, but also in the near future. And this is, I'm not entering now too much in the laboratory, because I have an expertise position. I'm helping people working in the laboratory and working in process, and I'm defining with the technical directors. I am defining the future of our product. This is very amazing, because you are something like a future visionary, and you need to project yourself in the future, and to guess how the technology will look like in the near future, and how we will take advantage of things that are being done now at a fundamental scale, and how they can be transferred to my company to improve the efficiency, or to reduce the cost, or to improve the environmental impact and so on of the product we are developing now. We can continue with the manifesto I had in mind to tell to you. If you have more questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. So I have something to. I want that you think about something. So if I would like you to think about, when you think of a scientist, you picture a man or not. So we have made in France, in Women and Science, we have made several works with the students, and we told them to design and to draw a scientist, and it's astonishing, but most of them, almost 90%, are drawing a man. So, but this is for childs. If you go directly to people which is not a young boy, but it's also already in the adult age, and you tell him, how can you describe me a scientist? Usually, it is described as a man, even in a conscious way. So, when you think of a scientist, you picture a man, then you are part of the problem. This claim was part of the American for Women in Science campaign 5 years ago, sorry. And some of you may wonder, what's the point after all? Okay, the point is that science could be a male discipline. This could be considered valid or not today, or do you also picture a man? And this is still true. Why should we care? It's very important to care about it, because stereotypes are one of the main problems for young women to be involved in research and engineering, and because they think that it's not feminine at all, and they will be isolated from some feminine world and so on. And this is really a problem, because the stereotypes most of the time are not conscious. We are not conscious to have this kind of mind, but it's a really problem, because we transmit them to the young child. So another thing is that most of the people, when you tell them, draw me a man, most of them design Albert Einstein, and they think about Albert Einstein with all the hair and with this strange hair he has. But we can't blame it on Albert Einstein. This is crazy. He had a crazy look and funny hair shaped out. We have shaped out our vision of scientists. And most of the people think, if you are not an Albert fan, then you easily picture tall, straight, and silent figures with perfectly greased hair, with big eyes behind the eyes. So the problem is that, unfortunately, women are not linked to modern science in the popular imagination, and even less to a happy and balanced life as science. Okay, if one young girl figure out her life as Albert Einstein, okay, I agree with you that she will not be really interested in following a research and engineering career. So, do the math. Less than 1/3 is not enough. behind this mental picture, which is the status of women in science today. So, in fact, according to a survey published by UNESCO recently, there are 7 million researchers around the world, and including more or less 3 million in the developing country. Women represent 30%, but with great variation between the different regions in the world. And this is astonishing because if you look to the graduate schools, to the universities, you will see that more than 50% are women. And between those that finally arrive to graduate, more than 50% are women. We are looking these women to be at the end of their studies 50%, and just to be 30% in technical careers, in technical professional careers. And the challenge is maintain the balance, science versus family, engineering versus family. We all know that engineering and science are time consuming. Yes, that may be true, but they are time consuming because you are happy in your work, and you work many times more than needed, and you work just for pleasure in sometimes, and you have work at home because you like really much what to do. But I put this in a balance and I say, okay, I work more as a scientist or more as an engineer because I work at home. I will work less as a secretary from, let's say, 8 to 5 or 8 to 4. But I will not be doing something I love and something I really have the pleasure to do every day. So you spend 8 hours per day working something that you really don't like, or working in something that is easy, or it could be easy, but it's not the work you want to do. Instead of stay 10 hours working in something you really love. I think that the quality of life in the second case is most important than the first case. Of course, if you like to be secretary, please go to secretary. Not everybody needs to go to engineer, but don't decide regarding the load work you will have, because this load work will be very comfortable because you will be doing something you really love. You will be learning a lot from the personal point of view, and you will be really exploring new universes, learning a lot, meeting a lot of people around the world, making your work really profitable for the society, and you will see that the final product of your work will be used for something. So many reasons could explain the problems related with the challenge of maintaining the balance between society, between the science and family. This can be explained by politics, economics, traditional mindsets, and so on, and above all, in education. Here we come back to stereotypes. Believe it or not, stereotypes are one of the more important problems in our society. If you take a boy and a girl, both of them 3 years old, and you compare their toys, you will be astonished to see that their toys are already orienting them towards one thing or towards another. We have Lego. Lego is one of the main construction and engineering toy for young kids. We are offering this kind of toys. Most of the times, to boys. To girls, we are offering dolls, puppets, and so on, which are orienting them towards family care and not toward engineering results. You have puzzles. Most of them are for boys also. In this case, the balance is more counterbalanced, but in any case, you have more of them. And all mathematical and engineer-based toys are mostly offered to boys and not to girls. So, and I ask you to think about this and to make an introspection and to see that even if you are not conscious of this fact, you are really orienting young kids from the beginning by offering them one or other toy. So I don't know more what to say more about these differences that we are. I have heard in the past a very amazing song that is titled "I'm Gonna Be an Engineer," and it was created in the 80s, I think. Yeah, and it is really related really with this kind of stereotypes I told you. So the thing is that I encourage you to look to this song, because it illustrates really well what is the stereotypes problem and how it's difficult for women to face this stereotype because we are not conscious of them. So please, if you have any question, please tell me if you want to know more about me, about my career, about how to engage in engineer and scientific careers, and to have a very balanced, a well-balanced professional and personal career. And this is not impossible. It's hard, but it's hard for everybody, not just for women. It's also hard for men. I have just for information, I have three childs, 16, 12, and 4, almost 5. I have been working hard during all my professional career. I have been supported by my husband very much, and it can be done. You don't need to make the choice. So we have another question. What words of advice do you give to young female engineers when you meet them? I have two main words of advice. The first one is, if you like what you are doing, you are already engaged in engineering. If you are really loving what you are doing, don't fear the future, don't fear the success, and work to balance both your career and your personal life. You don't have to choose. There is always a way to balance both of them. But remember, you need to ask. You need to ask either to your management. You need to ask either to your husband, boyfriend, and you need to ask also to you. And the second one is, please go ahead. Please go ahead and do it with passion. Another question we have is, what does an average day consist of for you? So yeah, I wake up at about 7 in the morning. I make a little bit of sport. I wake up my smallest child at 4, and I take him to the school. The others are taking breakfast with me and taking the bus to go to school. And I start usually to work at 9, quarter to 9. And the first thing I do when I'm at home, because I travel a lot. So when I'm at home, I mean when I am at the Nexus, is take a coffee and to discuss with my colleagues about the results of the last year, of the last day, because we have the results of the last sales at the end of each year. And at that time I start to see which is the most important work to do for the week and to planify my work. So I can't say you, apart from the standard things like getting up, sport, breakfast, and taking my child to the school. I can't say which is my day, because it's a very amazing work where the days are different. One day I'm more in expertise, another day I'm traveling, another day I'm most in technical meetings, having brainstorming with my colleagues to improve our products, and in other days I'm discussing with my colleagues in research and development to have them new ideas on how to make this or so on. It's very difficult for me to have to say which is which does an average day consist of me, because it's very different. And this is one of the main or the things I appreciate more in my work, not to have the same things to make every day at the same time at the same hour. And okay, I finish. I go out about 6 p.m. I came back home. I stay with my child. I help them their homeworks, and we take dinner, and they go sleep. And once they go to sleep, I continue a little bit working by reading, by informing me about the news of the technology, the concurrents, and so on. So yeah, and around midnight I go to bed. So they are very long days. So how it is important for me to attend conferences is another question. Okay, as I told you, is one of my main tasks today at Nexus is to act as an expert and to look for new technological ways to improve our material, just not just technological way, but also new materials. So I need to look to new materials, properties of the material we have, and how to improve them. I need to look to new design of the devices. I need to look to new electrical design of a product to improve one of our roadmaps, which is efficiency, cost, energy rating, and so on. And conferences are one of the main points where all the experts around the world meet. We can discuss between us about the different ways we think things will be in your future. We have their contact with other companies which can be complementary to us, or can be in the concurrence. So it's one way to be up to date in this world, which is really moving, and which is moving very fast, and which is full of innovations, of new things that are being developed in a small laboratory in some place in the world. And if you don't go to the conferences to hear them, to see their posters, and to learn what they are doing, you can be missing a very important point or a very important breakthrough that will be done in the future by others and not by you, and you will be losing the train. So this is why it's very important for me to attend conferences. This is for the professional point of view, and also for the personal point of view. I like very much to meet other people, and to have friends all around the world, and to be able to speak different languages. In particular, I speak 5 languages. I speak English, French, Spanish, and Italian, and a bit of German. And this allows me to be comfortable all around the world. And yeah, it's from the professional point of view, it's essential, and for the personal point of view, to have contact with other people like me. I mean, like other people which are really passionate by their work is very important for me. So I think that I told you all more or less what I had planned for this chat. I hope that it has been interesting to you to hear me and to learn some tips about how to make that your life as engineer and scientist more interesting, and how we can engage, do to more young women to be engaged. In the last PV conferences in the US, we have been working in supporting women in photovoltaics. Here in France, I'm supporting also women in science, which is also very important, because we see that we need to act not just in this kind of events where more of the people is presented just because they want to hear about the others, but we need more. We need to be present in the schools, to be present in the high school, to show you as a role model, showing people, young women, that it is possible to have a family and a career, and that science and engineer can make you very, very happy. We have not spoken about which is societal acknowledgement, salary, and so on. But this is also it is making difference between other more standard works. So you are working hard to do several years of your 20s, but the payback is important, and you can have access to a more comfortable life because of two things: you are earning more, and you are doing something you really like. And in periods of crisis, usually you are also less touched than people which have a more common work. This is somehow egoist. But it's important also to know that the more you are in the societal, not in the societal, in the intellectual or in the particular things world, more difficult will be. More difficult will be the fact that you will be out of work because of the crisis. I mean, if you are an engineer, it will be more difficult to be in without work than if you are a jardineer, or you have other work that people with non-qualified work can compete with for them. So you don't. Of course, we are not going to make engineering just for this, but it is something that if you like engineer and you are thinking about to make it, it's something you should consider that you are really engaging yourself for a better future. So I don't know if we have more questions or not. I think that we are almost done. We have been speaking for 1 hour, and I have discussed with you some of the questions you have had, and I hope, as I told you, that this has been useful for you, and that okay, if you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask them, and I will be glad to answer you. I don't know what more to say. I have spoken about all the things I feel in my heart, and all the things I think could be important for you for the future, to help your life more interesting, and just engage. Please engage in things that you really love and you really feel as important for you. So I say you don't hesitate to send me any email if you need more contact. I think that you have it available. If not, I can give you to. It's veronica.bermudez@nexis.fr. I will be really glad to ask your questions, and I will really glad to help in any way I can. And see you in near future. Bye bye.